There are certain things in life that should remain locked away. Things that, once spoken aloud, permanently shift how someone perceives you. Not because they're disgraceful or immoral, but because they undermine the very pillars that attraction and respect rely on. In today's video, I'm revealing 5 secrets that, no matter how deep your connection is with a woman, no matter how strong your bond or how much trust exists, should never be disclosed. This isn't about distrusting women. It's about recognizing how certain truths activate psychological mechanisms that, often irreversibly, erode both respect and attraction. A fair warning before we start: the 5th secret is by far the most damaging. It's something nearly every man feels compelled to open up about, but doing so is like setting off an emotional time bomb. Once it's out there, there's no undoing the damage. This isn't about lying or concealing the truth. It's about grasping the intricacies of human psychology and safeguarding the very traits that allow relationships to thrive. Let's explore what belongs in the vault. 1. Your deepest insecurities and self-doubts. The first thing that should never leave the vault is a full confession of your deepest insecurities and self-doubts. Yes, vulnerability is an essential part of a relationship, but there's a big difference between discussing personal growth and completely offloading your fears, flaws, and inadequacies. I learned this firsthand from my friend Jake, who was seeing an incredible woman named Lisa. They had undeniable chemistry, deep conversation, and what looked like a solid connection. But Jake made the error of revealing every insecurity he had, thinking it would deepen their bond. He admitted his fear of not being successful enough, his anxiety about how he looked, his doubts about deserving her, and his belief that other men were more attractive or competent. To him, this level of openness was a gesture of trust. But it backfired. Lisa began to view him the same way he viewed himself: unsure, insecure, and lacking confidence. The self-assured, desirable man she had been drawn to was slowly replaced by someone who didn't see his own value. Within a few weeks, the relationship was over. Here's what's happening psychologically. When you constantly share your deepest insecurities, you're subtly asking your partner to shoulder the responsibility of validating your worth. It changes the dynamic. She stops seeing you as a partner and starts seeing you as someone who needs healing. And attraction rarely survives that shift. 2. Your full romantic and sexual past. The second secret to keep under wraps is the complete, unfiltered story of your past romantic and sexual experiences. Now, some level of past relationship discussion is normal, even healthy. But detailing everything from exes' names to bedroom stories and comparisons, that's a slippery slope. My friend Marcus made this mistake with his girlfriend Sarah. In a late-night heart-to-heart, he chose to open up, fully. He shared intimate details about former relationships, what his exes were like in bed, the dynamics they had, how things ended, and even made subtle comparisons between them and Sarah. His intention was transparency. What he created instead was doubt, jealousy, and vivid mental imagery Sarah couldn't forget. Each time they got close, she wondered how she measured up. When he mentioned female friends, she started questioning if they were more than just friends. Too much honesty about the past doesn't build connection. It builds competition in your partner's mind. The psychological reality is this: when someone knows too much about your history, they begin to compare. Often not consciously, but the mind does it anyway, and rarely does it lead to increased confidence. Instead of detailed accounts, stick to broader themes. Share what you learned, what you value now, but skip the specifics. You can say, "I've learned the importance of communication," without describing how your last relationship fell apart during a fight about trust. 3. Your emotional breaking points. Third on the list are your personal breaking points. Those raw, rock-bottom moments where everything felt like too much. These are the times you cried uncontrollably, suffered panic attacks, or felt completely defeated by life. While being emotionally open has value, revealing every detail of these moments can reshape how your partner sees you. I watched this unfold with my friend David. He had just come through a tough-time job loss, family conflict, and financial pressure all at once. He went through what he called a full emotional collapse, days of crying, feeling hopeless, and severe anxiety. When life calmed down, he told his girlfriend Emmett everything, thinking it would bring them closer. Instead, it changed how she perceived him. The man she once saw as resilient and grounded now looked fragile and volatile. Though she cared and supported him, something had shifted. Her sense of safety with him, her emotional trust in his stability, had changed. Psychologically, this is the issue. While we all have low points, vividly describing them can activate protective instincts in your partner that disrupt romantic attraction. The moment you become someone who needs emotional rescuing, rather than someone capable of offering stability, the nature of the relationship transforms, and not in a good way. 4. Your financial fears and money anxieties. Fourth, never fully expose the depth of your financial worries and anxieties. Yes, transparency matters in long-term relationships, but there's a difference between financial honesty and emotionally dumping your money fears onto your partner. Take my friend Chris as an example. He was financially secure on paper, but carried deep, rooted fears from growing up in poverty. He constantly worried about job security, savings, and being able to provide for a family. Thinking it was an important talk about their future, he opened up to his girlfriend Jennifer. He shared everything: his panic when paying bills, obsessive account checking, fear of job loss, and concern that she'd leave if his income dropped. Jennifer began to see him not as a provider, but as someone barely holding it together. His emotional view of his finances clouded her trust in their future. Even though his actual money situation was fine, his fear became hers. Instead of reassuring him, she started questioning whether he really had the stability she was looking for. Here's what psychology tells us: financial stress is contagious. When you share every detail of your money fears, your partner ends up taking on emotional pressure that isn't hers to carry, and it often creates the insecurity you were trying to avoid. 5. Your desperation for the relationship to succeed. Finally, the fifth and most dangerous secret. Revealing how deeply you need the relationship to work, how terrified you are of losing her, and how incomplete you'd feel without her. It sounds like love, but it lands as pressure. Men often think expressing this level of need shows depth and commitment, but in reality, it suffocates the relationship. Here's the harsh truth. The moment you position yourself as needing the relationship to survive, you stop being a partner and start becoming a liability. You're no longer a man she feels lucky to be with. You become someone who needs her validation to function. And neediness, no matter how romantic it feels in your mind, is one of the fastest ways to kill attraction. A woman wants to feel chosen by a man who wants her, not one who needs her to survive. She wants to know that if things fell apart, you'd be hurt, but not destroyed. Strength is attractive. Dependence is not. So, here's the recap. The 5 truths that should remain sealed in the vault. Your deepest insecurities and self-doubts, the complete details of your romantic and sexual past, your emotional breaking points, your financial fears and anxieties, and your desperation for the relationship to succeed. If this video helped you see the difference between genuine vulnerability and emotional oversharing, hit that subscribe button and leave your thoughts below. Have you ever said too much, too soon? How did it impact your relationship? And remember this: the healthiest relationships are built between 2 whole individuals who choose to share their lives, not between 2 people trying to complete each other. Keep some things in the vault. You'll build stronger, more respectful connections because of it. And look, this isn't about playing games or hiding who you are. It's about being intentional with what you share and when you share it. Vulnerability is powerful, but only when it's balanced with self-respect and emotional grounding. Dumping every fear, every weakness, and every emotional dependency onto someone early in the relationship doesn't build intimacy. It creates imbalance. Your partner isn't supposed to be your emotional crutch. She's not meant to carry the full weight of your inner struggles. That's your work. That's your responsibility. A man who knows when to speak and when to hold back, not out of fear, but out of strength, is a man who commands lasting respect. Now, here's a challenge for you. Take a moment today to reflect on what you've been oversharing. Ask yourself, am I giving away emotional power in the name of honesty? Am I trying to create closeness at the expense of confidence? And if so, it might be time to reclaim some of that power and recenter your identity, not around someone else's validation, but around your own internal strength. Because at the end of the day, the most magnetic men are the ones who are whole with, or without a relationship. They don't overshare to be understood, they share wisely to be respected. That's the key difference. If you got value from this, go ahead and subscribe for more real talk like this, and let me know in the comments, what's one thing you've shared in the past that you now realize should have stayed in the vault? Let's learn from each other. Let's grow. Until next time, stay grounded, stay intentional, and never forget respect is earned in silence just as much as in words.